Relevant Recruiter Group, welcome to another live training. This is Donnie Gupton coming back to you. For those of you that have been in the group, you know I go live every single Wednesday at 12 PST. For those of you who are getting on right now, if you can just give me a hi, hello, what's up in the chat below so that I know that you can hear me and that you are here. So super pumped up for today's training. And one of the things that we're really going to focus on today has nothing to do with online marketing, lead generation. It's not about tactics. It's not about strategies. What we're going to talk about is possibly more important than anything when it comes to growing your business. And that really revolves around your mindset. And there's a certain mindset that can really destroy your business and destroy your momentum. It can destroy your brand. And it can destroy everything that you're building, and it can ultimately get you to give up. And that is a transactional mindset. And for years, when I first started my business, I had a transactional mindset. And really the challenge with this is a whole different level deeper than that. And that really roots in a scarcity mindset. And so what is a scarcity mindset? You know, the very basics of the scarcity mindset is that there's just not enough, and there never will be enough. But when you're doing business development and marketing, sales, growing a business, no matter really what it is, what area of your life it is, if you're operating out of scarcity, you're really killing your chances of having any success. Because typically when we're operating this place, and speaking for myself here, it created a lot of fear. It created a lot of unnecessary stress. And it creates a lot of anxiety when we show up in a place of scarcity. And you know, this is one of the biggest things that could be holding your business back right now. And, you know, when you're looking at it from sales and business development, you know, the scarcity typically has you showing up and everything is transactional because you don't feel like you have enough money and you don't have enough clients. And so what do you try to do then is then your energy and effort goes into how fast can you transact? How fast can I get a new client? And everything from there really, you know, takes away from the relationship and the normal process. So, you know, when all of our energy and effort is focused on our next deal, then typically what happens from that is that we start to attach our worth and our value to that deal. And if we don't get that deal, or if we don't get that call, or if we don't get that client, or if we don't get that, you know, placement, then we're not good enough because there's not enough to go around. And this one, if I didn't get it, my whole business is going to change. Man, is it exhausting. And I don't know if you've ever operated out of scarcity, or if you're right there right now, just drop scarcity below. Let me know how you feel about that. If any of this is showing up for you, if it has shown up in the past. But I can tell you that when you're operating out of scarcity, it also creates this different perception for your market. Your market can actually feel it. Your market can feel your desperation. And that's just never going to lead to any ideal clients. So it'll leave us in this mode of constantly having to hustle because we start to, again, attach our worth into, you know, us making a transaction or us making a deal. And ultimately, you know, what we're doing is we're always focused on just the quick win. We're focused on, you know, our next transaction, like I've said several times. But really what happens when you have this type of thing, the biggest thing that happens is that ultimately it leads to you giving up. It ultimately leads to, this doesn't work for me. And then we start to focus on all of the external factors. Well, it didn't work because, you know, this person didn't help me, or it didn't work because this is the type of client I was talking about. It really starts to push all of our energy and effort outwards towards, you know, an external factor. And really with business and marketing and sales and any angle that you're really looking at it from, we want to be focused on what can we do better. We want to do the work, right? We want to focus on what we need to do better, to show up better. And so on the opposite side of scarcity is abundance. And when we can really operate from an abundance mindset, then everything happens more abundantly for us. And there's the common belief, or the common myth, that's out there, that the only way I can have an abundance mindset is when I have an abundance. And that's actually the opposite. You need to have an abundance mindset before you can have abundance. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is really by tweaking your mindset. But because when you have a more of an abundance mindset, then you can show up and focus on playing the long game with your clients. And you're focused on more of long-term strategies for yourself, and you're focused on more of your long-term success in your life. Okay. When you're showing up with abundance, it allows you to have an approach that you believe in when it comes to specifically sales and marketing and business development. You have a way to really build yourself as a valuable resource, for the market. But the abundance mindset and realizing that there's tons of clients out there, there's tons of candidates out there, there's tons of placements out there, and somebody else's success has nothing to do, and there's no correlation of that to my success. And typically, if you find yourself, looking at other, staffing and recruiting firms or other entrepreneurs in the world and going, oh, well, so-and-so has this, why don't I have that? And if they have it, then I can't have it. Then you're operating in that scarcity mindset. And so there's huge opportunity for you to shift over into much more of an abundant mindset. And when we can do this from our business, this allows us really to focus on what our market needs, what they want, and providing that for them. And we can really then focus on value that we're bringing to the table. And we can focus on, the benefits of the market of what we provide, rather than focusing on the transaction and me being 100% focused on how I can get my next dollar in my bank account. So how many of you on here that are listening operate right now out of abundance mindset? Drop an abundance below if you feel like you're really working out of abundance right now. And I can tell you right now, this is the most challenging time probably in your career to really operate out of abundance, when we know that the reality of it is in our market is there's a scarcity of jobs that are going around. And so if we're focused on that scarcity, when we're focused on the fact that there's less work going around, then we might convince ourselves that there's no work going around, and there can be nothing further from the truth. There's plenty of work to go around right now. There's still plenty of business to be had out there. But if the story in my head is that I'm not, the reality of it is in life, what we focus on expands. So if I keep focusing on scarcity, there's not enough, I need a deal, I need a transaction. Then what happens is we end up having an empty pocketbook, because that's where all of our effort and that's where all of our energy is focused on, and nothing works. I give up, I quit, this doesn't work for me. And in fact, you can go from these kind of almost like it's mountainous weather in your mind, where one day you're all fired up, hey, I've got this success and this, that, and the other, because it's close to the transaction. But just by one little thing, one little external factor that showed up in your life, you're completely out of control again. You completely have given up again, because there's so much scarcity in your mind and so much scarcity in your world that you're just exhausted. You don't believe it anymore. And I've been there. Okay. I've totally been there. And I can tell you that working on an abundance mindset is the most freeing thing and the most valuable thing you could really do for your business and for your life. And so right now, what I want to do is actually go a little bit deeper here and actually share some tips on how you can start to build out more of an abundant mindset. So the first thing that I recommend is the most basic thing, and that is actually just affirmations around abundance. So whatever you're looking for abundance in your life. So one of the things that I did for myself is I started to write, and actually I still do this every single day in my journal, in my affirmations. There are thousands of people that want to work with me. So think about that. And a lot of you, how many people do you really need to work with? How many clients do you need to work with? I know we only need to attract one candidate to place a job or fill a role, right? But when it comes from clients, like, how many do you really need? How many of them are out there? How many of them really do you believe are out there that are willing to work with you? There's thousands of them. Okay. So start building affirmations around the areas that you feel like there's scarcity. If you have scarcity around money, realize that money always comes back, and money comes to you easily, right? Start to build affirmations around the things that you feel like are the most scarce. The next thing that I would recommend is to really focus on what you have right now. What does that mean? It means living in gratitude. Okay, you're focused on what you have right now. You're living in gratitude. What are you grateful for right now? What clients? And again, if this is about, your business development, then what clients are you grateful that you have right now? I'm grateful for all the clients I have. I'm grateful for the clients that are in my mastermind group. I'm grateful for the clients that are in my Relevant Recruiter program. I'm grateful for all of you that show up to join me on these live trainings. Okay. So I can journal about that, and I do journal about this every day. I do gratitude as part of my journaling every day, and that's a huge part of how I've been able to develop an abundant mindset. And as I've been able to develop this, the only thing that's happened is my business has grown. I've moved into a bigger, better house for my family, and I've created more freedom for myself simply from this shift in mindset. So this is crucially important to the success of your business. The next thing that I recommend, to develop an abundant mindset, and especially this one's going to go really into kind of marketing lead generation angle, is creating a process that you can fall in love with. Create a process that where you really start to look at the success of your processes. You can break them down because you're now bought into how you choose to show up every day and what you're going to do in your work every day, and not on how you're going to transact. If everything is always about the next transaction, like I've said multiple times, incredibly exhausting. So if I can focus on creating a process that I believe in, and then within that, the next tip is to focus on wins. So when you're building this process, focus on the little wins that you can create within that process so that you can start celebrating the things that are going to get you closer to the ultimate goal, which is the transaction, right? But we don't want to be a transactional person. And I can tell you from the recruiting part, if you are showing up as transactional, what you are showing up is like most of the market, and the market's tired of it. The market doesn't want somebody who wants to connect with them and focused on the next interaction. If your approach in your business development is to immediately go for the kill, then typically the underlying root for that is because you have a transactional mindset. And so if we can shift this into more of a longer game, a longer play, using the journaling and the affirmations and building the process and celebrating the quick wins, then that will help, again, catapult the business and success. The next thing that you can really do to really establish this mindset of abundance is really start to create yourself as a valuable resource and find out how you can become the most valuable resource in your market. A couple months back, as I was growing my business and trying to expand my business, as I always am, it's just something I'm always hungry for. I caught myself in, the old scarcity mindset of, well, shoot, I just really want to help people, and there's not enough people that I can truly help. And, then I realized I'm like, what, I can actually help people right now. Maybe they're not going to pay me necessarily up front for that help right now, but maybe in the future, if I help in the front, then I will get business in return. And this is very, commonly used for, internet marketing, is to kind of give away your value for free. And so what I started to do is I started to do these live trainings so that I can add value, so I can have more abundance, so I can impact more people, and really position myself as a valuable resource in the market. So that was one of the ways I'm like, okay, shoot, well, I may not have all the people in the world right now that are in my training programs. Well, I can continue to impact people and, have an abundance of people that I impact by showing up and adding value and creating myself into a person of value. So when you have that abundant mindset, that you have it allows you to be able to do that. And that then further enhances your abundance of people that are out there that want to work with you, that want to do business with you, that really start to know, like, and trust you. But one of the biggest things that you want to focus on with your abundance mindset in order to get an abundance mindset is simply focusing on what you can control. Control what you can control in your day-to-day life. Cut out all the external factors. What can Donnie do today to make himself healthier? What can Donnie do today to make himself more physically health, more mentally health? How can Donnie improve his business and grow his business? How can I impact my clients with no attachment to anybody else? Take 100% responsibility and 100% control of your life, and you actually can operate from more of an abundant standpoint. But that is the absolute key to success in your business. And especially right now, and I feel like this is such a timely thing because so many people, business isn't the same as what they used to be. And so what happens is we get into these knee-jerk reactions of, oh, shoot, I need to get business. I need to grow my business. So what do? I go out there and I find the most transactional approach because I don't have enough. I don't have enough abundance. And there never will be enough because I'm operating from scarcity. And then my market sees me showing up that way. Look, in your business development plan right now, the most successful thing you can be doing is playing a long game, loading a pipeline of clients and candidates that you can nurture, add value to, become a resource to, and realize that by doing that, that you'll have an abundance of people that will be running to work with you once this thing fully flips back on, right? Once this whole market fully shifts, and it'll allow you to pick up quick wins along the way. And there's this common myth in business development when I'm showing up transactionally, that thinking that that's the only way that I can get business is if I ask, and I got to ask right now, because if I don't ask right now, then I'm not going to get business. Look, just by having a different approach, just by showing up differently, just by having a different mindset, that will come through in your content, that will come through in your messaging, and people will be more receptive to it. And, you know, people don't need to have the writing on the wall for them to know how you can help them. So if you're approaching people with your business right now, transactionally, trying to figure out how you can win, and you think you're doing a favor by hitting them up with a message of, hey, are you looking to fill these types of roles? This is my expertise. I've been a recruiter in this space for X amount of years. They've heard that pitch already today, probably like 6 or 7 times. So focus on the long game, build an abundant mindset. Again, affirm every single day the areas of your life that you want abundance in. There are thousands of people that want to work with me. Journal and be grateful for the clients and candidates and the people that you do have. Celebrate your successes and your wins and create a process that's going to set you up for that, so that you can start to see how your process really focuses on building relationships and celebrating the steps of where those relationships go and where people are at in any specific relationship. Because at that point, then you can really get the same amount of gratification from making a new introduction and a new potential person that could become a business relationship 3 months from now. You'll get the same gratification out of that as you will for the person that actually paid you today, because you're celebrating a different thing and you know that there's always enough that's out there. And the last thing, like I talked about, is really focusing on what you can control. Control what you can control. Take 100% responsibility for your business. And all of these things will help you operate out of more of an abundant mindset. When you're operating out of more of an abundant mindset, there's really nothing that you can't achieve in your business. And since I made this shift several years ago, and even every couple months, every couple months, I even make another shift in my mindset in more abundance and more abundance and more abundance. And the only things that continue to follow is abundance. So keep in mind that you have to have the mindset before the abundance will actually come, and you can train your mind to become better. So ultimately, go out there today, do the work. Thank you so much for joining me in this training. I hope you found that valuable, and I hope that me reminding a lot of you of possibly that scarcity mindset that's creeping into your business, and how you can really operate from more of an abundant mindset will impact your business. That's one of the things we can be focusing on right now. There's all this other chaos that's going on in the world. So hopefully that helps. Everybody have a happy Wednesday. I will see you next Wednesday at 12 o'clock Pacific for another short little training. This is Donnie Gupton. If you have any questions, always reach out to me. If we're not connected here on Facebook, make sure you leave me a connection too. Talk to you soon.